I guess around the time it happened, I would have been about 16. And it was, I don't think you could avoid it. I have a memory. I wasn't in short trousers then, but I do have a memory of it being something extraordinary. But because coming from Ireland, it was sort of almost way beyond our imagination. It did seem kind of really alien and sort of unreal, but it wasn't. And despite the deniers, I guess. So I have a memory of it being kind of an extraordinary time, and I also remember there being a sense of, well, genuine excitement, but a positive energy around the future possibilities. What was very interesting about Bob Gilruth was he was known as a very quiet man, very more behind the scenes. He was the director of the Space Center, but he was obviously brilliant at delegation, I guess, and he would choose people who would then choose people who would work out, so they had this big pattern spread out, and he'd just be there, not as a liaison officer as such, but with an overview to see how all the different departments are all putting it together. It's what they wrote, that this would be the announcement that would made should Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong and Michael Collins not make it back. And it is very beautiful. It is very beautiful. It's kind of epic. It's Shakespearean. It's poetic as well. In fact, there's a bit that's almost, they might have borrowed. I sort of noticed some kind of similarity with a poem by Rupert Brooke, who talked about there is a foreign field that is forever England in one of his poems about First World War. This is about somewhere on another planet that is forever mankind.
He was older, first of all. Out of the 110, he was one of the 7 chosen for Mercury. And then, you know, because of his heart irregularity, those damn flight surgeons took him out of the running. And at that point, he became in charge of, they put him in charge of the astronaut activities, if you will. But he was the one choosing who was going to go on the flights and doing the rotations, as well as he gave different jobs to the different astronauts as the program was rising up. Damien and Ryan and Linus, the director of photography, everyone involved in this has given everyone their own responsibility, and there's been a tremendous collaboration. It's always, what do you have to bring to the table? Here's what I want to share. It's been a great experience, and I think that's very similar, just like the space program would have been, where there was, I mean, these guys had final decisions to make, but no one pulled rank over each other. Everyone was trying to do the same thing. They had one goal in mind, and I think that plays out. This is the story of the impossible. It's a story about a bunch of people who decide that they want to go and get on the top of these giant rocket ships and land on the moon and walk around, right? It's impossible. It can't happen. No one can do that. Well, these guys made it happen. It's also set in its time period, what with the Cold War raging, what with politics the way they were, what you got the 60s going, it's fertile ground for storytelling. The dichotomy alone of these clean-cut fellows in the middle of that time period, in their little world, going to the moon, it's so Americana. It is so can-do. It is so, we did it. I didn't even read the script when I was told that they wanted me to be part of this. I hadn't even met Damien. I just said, yes, I'm in.
Now, 2001: A Space Odyssey has been called the best film ever made. The Star Wars movies make up a billion-dollar franchise fueled by rabid, obsessive fans. Even the highest-grossing film of all time, Avatar, is a sci-fi film. Yet, despite the frequent acclaim and fandom that science fiction movies attract, no sci-fi film has ever won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Maybe in the not-so-distant future.